All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be showing you how to restore gel coat on your boat. And this is similar to polishing out a car, but a little bit different. So over here we have heavily oxidized gel coat. Over here you can see I began wet sanding it and it looks a whole lot better than this side. Now depending on your boat, it may look more like this than this, and obviously restoring this is going to require less work than restoring this. But we're going to talk about if your boat looks like this, where do you start? And so what I like to do is start with wet sanding. So I'll clean the boat first and then I'll get a wet sanding disc. I like this company because it's pretty inexpensive compared to 3M. You can go on Amazon and buy these discs. We're going to start with a 400 grit followed by a 1000 grit. Then we're going to move on to a rubbing compound. This is 3M rubbing compound and it works great for polishing out the scratches from the sandpaper. Now after that rubbing compound is done, you'll be left with a surface that looks a little bit rough like this, and you're going to want to do a final polish on it. And for that we're going to use this product. This is 3M's Marine Finesse It Glaze. And after that's done, we're going to want to use a wax to protect the surface to keep this oxidation from happening again. And this is what we're going to use in this video. 3M Ultra Performance Paste Wax. And so let's get started. I use this to sand and to polish, and these are the pads I use. These are the orange pads. You can use a heavier cutting pad like a yellow pad if you want, but this works fine. This is a Harbor Freight dual action polisher, and the reason I'm using this in this video is because it's very inexpensive. You're going to want to get a more serious piece of equipment than this if your boat is very large, but for a little boat like this, this will work just fine. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to remove these screws first. So I've removed all the hardware here so I can start sanding this. We're going to start with a 400 grit. So I'll go ahead and put the 400 grit on and we'll go ahead and start sanding this. All right, so that looks much more promising. You can see that really cutting through the gel coat there. You can see the oxidation is disappearing pretty rapidly. So yeah, that looks nice. We're going to continue doing that, and then I'm going to move to a 1000 grit after this. We finished with the 1000 grit, and we're going to go ahead and dry this off. You'll notice that when I dry it, it's going to look hazy, and that's where the polishing step is going to come in. Now we got to go ahead and polish this. So I'm going to start with the 3M rubbing compound, and then I'm going to rub this stuff out. You can already see the difference from the rubbing compound area compared to just the wet sanded area. For many people, just the rubbing compound and then a wax would look good enough on their boat, but to get your boat to really shine, you should follow it up with the polish. So I'm going to finish doing the rubbing compound on this panel, and then I'll follow it up with the polish. All right, so now I'm going to polish this up, and then I'll put a wax on it. All right, so already this side looks nice and shiny. You can see the polish is doing its job. I gotta do that side now, but there's also still some oxidation. So if I wanted to get even more serious about making this boat perfect, I would continue to wet sand. I kind of missed some oxidation in this area, but already the boat looks a whole lot better. So I'm just gonna leave it and finish polishing out this side, and then I'll go ahead and wax it. But you can see now the boat looks a whole lot better, and I can see my reflection in it here. So it's just a 100% improvement. But again, to get all this stuff out, you'd really have to sand much deeper into the gel coat. All right, so as you can see, it's still not perfect, but there's a lot better reflection in here now. So I've already polished it with the final polish. I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of wax on it and let that dry. So what I'll do with that is I'll use a paste wax and a foam applicator pad. Very easy to apply, very easy to take off. So I just go ahead and apply it all around back here. And the great thing about this wax is that it will keep it from oxidizing. And it's a lot easier to wax your boat in the first place than it is to go through all the steps that I just went through. So this is a powerful reminder to wax your boat, if anything. If that's the only thing you get out of this video, if you're storing your boat outside, either cover it completely from the sun or keep it waxed. Okay, so we let that dry and then we'll buff it off. This wax is really easy to apply. Once it dries, I can really just wipe it off with a towel and then reinstall all this stuff. So that's basically it. That's all I have for you guys on restoring the gel coat on your boat. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you enjoy your boat.